unchangeable, situations tolerable.
The Traveling Wilburys were a happy accident. Tom, Jeff Lynne, Roy Orbison, and George Harrison got together at Bob Dylan's home studio to help George out on a song called Handle with Care.
Everybody's got somebody to lean on.
It was like, wow, is this really happening? And there's Bob Dylan and Roy Orbison around the same mic, you know, it's going, wow. I kept having to go, wow, that's amazing.
The next thing I knew, I'm in the Traveling Wilburys, you know, which was endless amounts of fun.
Tom and his famous friends had the #3 album in the fall of '88.
I'm so tired of being lonely. I still have some love to give.
Unfortunately, right at the height of its, you know, all the fun, Roy died. So I think that kind of took some of the wind out of our sails.
Ironically, while Tom and the Wilburys mourned the loss of Roy Orbison that December, the Wilburys album was still on the charts. With the Wilburys a hit, Tom released the solo album he'd been working on with Jeff Lynne. Full Moon Fever topped even the Wilburys' success. Tom's solo debut shot up the charts in the summer of '89, rising to #3.
It was a beautiful day.
Tom brought the Heartbreakers on the follow-up tour, though only Mike Campbell had played a significant role on the album.
Yeah, running down a dream.
That felt funny, too. It's like you aren't good enough to play on the record, but you're good enough to play live. You'll get by live. That's how it felt.
I know Stan was really bitter about it.
I had mixed emotions. Part of me was thinking that it was nice that they included me in the tour because they could have easily excluded me. But then the other side of it was, I guess there were more than a couple songs on that record I just didn't like. After a while, it's like, why am I doing this?
Into the great wide open.
After the tour, Tom and the band began work on a new Heartbreakers album with Jeff Lynne. But fallout from Tom's solo success followed them into the studio. The 1991 sessions for Into the Great Wide Open were strained, and on his next record, Tom took another break from the Heartbreakers.
It's good to be king and have your own way.
Wildflowers, again, was a Tom Petty solo record, so the idea was to assemble a band of different people.
Eventually, every Heartbreaker but Stan Lynch played a part on Wildflowers. And in '93, Tom brought the whole band together to record 2 new songs for a greatest hits package.
Last dance with Mary Jane. One more time to kill the pain.
The songs were new, the conflicts were the same. And by the fall of '94, friction between Stan and the band came to a head.
Well, let me get to the point.
We were really hard on Stanley, so much so that sometimes I think that we intimidated him from doing his best just by being so hard on him.
It was becoming an intolerable situation.
You don't know how it feels. You don't know how it feels.
I didn't fit into the music being made. I didn't know how to fit in. Took that ride as far as it would go, man. I mean, the 70s were great, the 80s were great, and the 90s were tough.
After nearly 20 years, Stan Lynch was no longer in the band. The good old days were finally over. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers had entered a new era.
Hey, baby!
Coming up, fans hear an echo, not of the past, but the future.
We used to say we'd quit when we got to be 40. And now, you know, we're looking down the barrel of 50. And I don't have any intention of quitting.
When Behind the Music continues.
I got a room at the top of the world tonight.
Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, right there.
I got a room at the top of the world tonight.
In the years since Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers first started making hits, the boys from Gainesville have come to be recognized as one of the great rock bands of the last quarter century.
I ain't coming down.
Earl Petty's son finally made it in the music business.
The main thing I'm proud of is that he's making a living doing something that he likes to do. Because I honestly believe that he would do that if he didn't make 1 cent.
He has stayed fixated, connected, loving music his whole life.
Maybe I've become a little better person. Maybe I've got where I can keep my temper under control a little better.
Some of the things that he would take on the record company over, 20 years ago, he would just laugh about today. So in that respect, he's grown up.
And I keep this world from dragging me down. Gonna stand my ground.
I know I'm better at what I do than I was when I was younger. As a band, we're better. We're so much better. So those are the nice things about aging, is that sometimes you really do get better at your craft and your art.
In the spring of 1999, 6 years after the last True Heartbreakers record, Tom and the band were back with a new album called Echo.
You know we've both know where to go.
I think Tom felt that it was time for the Heartbreakers to get together as a band and cut a real band album.
It was a lot of fun to make the first 2/3 of it, and then Rick Rubin came in and made us shape up and play right.
When Tom plays with the Heartbreakers, again, it's like a psychic magic link-up where they can just play and it sounds great.
It's a good group, and we finally made a really good record together, I think. I think it's one of our better albums.
Well, she was standing by the highway.
The band has gotten better as a band. They haven't mellowed out. And people gradually have recognized that.
And she went down, swinging.
It's so hard to keep a band together. I mean, some people can't keep bands together for like, a year, a few months.
Hey, baby, you a free girl now.
I don't really like doing anything else more than playing with this group or working with Tom, Those are my favorite songs, my favorite players,
You don't really see great rock bands anymore, and they are a great rock band.
We love this work, and we love to do it, and we always try to do a good show and a good record, and that's it. And we have just been royally blessed. I mean, we've worked hard for it, but my God, we've been so blessed.
Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers play their songs and tell you the stories behind them on VH1 Storytellers, up next, only on VH1.
People think I'm not right, I'm stupid. I've been stupid since the day I was born. Well, I'm a dumbass, baby. I'm stupid. Right on!